Welcome to episode 3 of series 3 of our OR Talks podcast. Today I'll be discussing the 2024 spring budget and see what surprises the Chancellor's given us. Here are your hosts, Neil Seeger
and Marc and Neil.
So Marc, it's sort of you're in a hot seat today. We have no special guest.
Well, am I not special?
A super special guest.
There we go. Okay.
So the super special guest. So as the Chancellor's done his talk, and obviously we've done a couple of blogs and a couple of other talks on those, but just highlighting the key things that happened during the budget.
Yeah, it was quite a personal tax sort of heavy sort of budget, wasn't it? There was a lot of impact on people's personal tax position and one or two surprises thrown in there, but we'll go through like the main things and
hopefully you're going to tell us you're all better off. Hopefully there's good news.
Oh, there's always good news, but there's always bad news somewhere, isn't there?
Oh, no.
Find that out.
Well, we'll just talk about the good news then. We'll talk about the bad news.
Yeah, it was a miserable day, so we don't want to dwell on the bad.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Make my new tax year happy.
So a bit of good news then. We'll start with high income child benefit charge. That affects loads of our clients now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you'll probably know what the original rules on that were now.
Oh, so the original rules were if you weren't over 50,000, then you started losing it. So I think you lost 1% of your child benefit for every £100 you went over. So once you went 60,000 or over, you lost it completely.
That's it, spot on, yeah.
Ah, see, get me a job in tax.
So yeah, that £50,000 limit has been quite contentious for quite a while because it's on an individual, so it's not on a household or anything like that.
Right.
So what they're doing going forward is they've raised the threshold from 50,000 to 60,000.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the tapering of it as well is now not going to be over 10,000; it's over 20,000. So up to 80,000, and then you'll lose it completely.
So I'm then losing effectively 0.5%.
Yeah.
I think I'll go over 60,000, not 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good news.
That is good news. That is good news.
When's that from?
That is from the 6th of April 2024. So
okay, so straight in.
Very soon, yeah. So 23-24 was the last year of it being at 50, and then we're at to 60.
But that 60,000 is still for one individual. So
is,
for example, let's just say it was me and my wife. So if I earned 65,000, okay, with the new rules, I'd pay back effectively. What would it be then? It would be 25% of my child benefit because one person in the household earns over the 60,000.
That's right, yeah. There are plans from April 26 to change it to a household basis. What people have been campaigning for is to make it a lot fairer.
Yeah.
At the moment, you could have had two people earning £49,000 each, not paying a penny back, which is where it becomes a bit contentious.
And then one person earning, say in that example, 98 would pay every penny back.
Yeah, exactly.
I get. So at least they're looking to improve that, though.
Yeah, that's the plan, but it could all change before we get to April 26. But
so that's good news. That's good. See, we haven't got any bad news yet, so that's good.
So the next sort of one then be national insurance contributions.
Yeah, okay.
So a cut was already announced in the autumn statement.
Yes, it was.
And now they've gone even further on that.
Right. So another reduction.
Yeah, doubly good news.
Doubly good.
So for employees, it's going from 10% to 8%.
That's
on
fantastic.
The starting rate, so that's quite a good saving for people. Doing the same for class 4 as well.
So self-employed
people who play class 4.
Yeah.
It's going from what was 9% down to 6% now.
Blimey, so that's two really good savings.
It is, yeah. And obviously that follows on as well from the getting rid of the class 2 national insurance as well.
Oh, of course, that's good. That went, didn't it?
Yeah. So that's going as well, yeah. So from April 24, everyone, whether you're employed, self-employed, will be paying less national insurance.
Pay rise?
Pay rise in a way, yeah.
It is a pay rise.
Yeah.
I'm paying less national insurance.
It is, yeah. So that's more good news. So it's been pretty good so far.
That has been good news. You worried me at the start, and there was some bad news. However, I think it's all good so far.
It is so far. A bit of bad news.
Ah.
So anybody that's out there that's got a furnished holiday let.
Yeah.
So if you've got a house in Cornwall or an apartment in Cornwall or something that you rent out to holiday makers, they used to get favourable tax treatment.
Yes, because I treated it as a business, weren't they?
Yeah, effectively, yeah. So the treatment of those was a lot more lenient than if you're renting out a normal residential property.
Yeah.
April 25, the FHL regime, furnished holiday lets, is being abolished. So they're going to be treated no differently to any other.
So any residential rental, whether it be a holiday one or one that someone's living in every day, they're treated the same. Oh wow! So I can't claim, for example, I can't claim capital allowances as it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
So that's one of the things. So furnished holiday lets, you used to be able to claim capital allowances on items you're buying for them.
Yeah.
Residential properties, you can't.
Okay. Yeah.
Mortgage interest, which is probably the biggest one.
That yes.
So years and years and years ago, Neil will probably remember.
Yeah, with my old age.
You used to be able to deduct your mortgage interest from your rental profits on all residential property.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few years ago that was scrapped, and you can now not claim it against your profits.
Yeah. Okay.
FHLs though, were able to still do that.
Okay.
So with the abolishment of FHL's regime for tax, that's going to go. So where people had modest profits from them because they were able to deduct the mortgage interest, they're going to lose that. So
right. So just putting that into some numbers then. If let's just say for the sake of argument, you will just use easy numbers. So let's just say that my income was 48,000 for my employment.
Yeah.
Okay, or self-employed, whatever. And then my furnished holiday let after taking off. So my profit was 10 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. And my mortgage interest, I wouldn't be this high, but let's just say was 8 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. So that could be a £2,000 profit.
Yeah.
That means my £50,000 I pay basic rate tax.
Yeah.
But with the new rules, now you can't deduct it. You end up effectively, you can't have the reduction.
Yeah.
And my 8 grand doesn't exist.
Exactly.
So my 48,000 plus my £10,000 is now over the 50,000. So I pay 40% tax.
Spot on.
Right. So actually, so it's really going to sting people, isn't it?
It will do. Yeah, it will catch quite a lot of people out, unfortunately.
But that's only mortgage interest. It's not loan interest.
Yeah,
it's
mortgage interest.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
do with like the purchase of the property, basically. So yeah, that's the impact. You do get, a lot of people will be aware already, a tax reducer at 20% for the mortgage interest. It does get quite complicated, which we won't go into on this.
We could be in for hours.
But if you have got an FHL and you're worried about the changes, get in touch and we can go through your situation for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, drop us a WhatsApp.
Yeah, drop us a WhatsApp and or email. But yeah, I've done that with a few clients already actually who are worried how the change is going to impact them. So that's a bit of bad news.
Yeah, that is really bad news.
Capital gains tax day on properties. We can have a little bit of good news here.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah. Go on, what did he change?
So for residential properties, they pay the higher rates, so 18% or 28% currently.
Yeah.
That's been cut, the higher rate, to 24%. So 4% saving there.
Just on the sale of residential properties.
On residential, yeah. So any of the gains tend to be at 10 or 20%.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So drop that down. That's so then if you're planning on selling properties, actually, then you're sort of looking for the next tax year really for the top in rate.
Yes and no, yeah. So the problem is though, your annual exemption is being cut as well. So it used to be 12.5, it's been cut to 6, it's going down to 3. So
so there's a couple of things to juggle there. So
there's a lot.
Yeah,
and the other thing on capital gains tax as well, going back to furnished holiday lets, they used to qualify for business asset disposal relief.
Yeah.
Which means they would be taxed at 10%, providing you haven't already used the lifetime limit. Going forward, with the getting rid of furnished holiday lets, they'll be taxed as normal residential properties.
So then I'd fall out of my 10%
then
into my 24% if my total earnings were over. Yeah.
So that's another big change as well.
Wow.
So you might see that people are looking at whether to keep them, whether to sell them. So
again, ask us the question. We can run the numbers on how much you pay going forward and how much you pay on the sale.
Exactly that. So what else did he sort of do? One of the things which won't affect loads and loads of our clients, but it is quite a big change, domiciles.
Oh, right, yeah. Very simple thing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's quite a hot topic in the news, isn't it? And it's quite a political hot potato, isn't it?
So the domicile rules, that's looking if I'm basically where I pay my tax.
Yeah, so domicile really, really complicated, and I think the UK tax system was the only tax system in the world that worked on a domicile basis. What it basically looks at is where your origins from, so not necessarily where you live.
Okay.
So, for example, say you were born in India, grew up in India, and then moved to the UK. Later on in life, you'd be classed as a non-domicile individual.
Right. Okay.
But you'd be resident for tax in the UK.
Yes.
So under that would mean that you could claim as a non-dom what's known as the remittance basis.
Okay.
So basically then you only pay tax on your UK earnings or UK income and any foreign income that you actually brought into the UK.
Right, okay.
So if you didn't bring it into the UK, any foreign earnings, it wouldn't be taxed.
So if I stayed in my Indian bank account, for example,
Yeah.
and I never spent it in the UK and never did anything with it, it just stayed over there, I wouldn't have to pay UK tax on it.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas otherwise, all UK residents pay tax on their worldwide income.
Yeah.
So that's been around for absolutely
It's forever, as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Long as we both can remember. It's been quite contentious, so they're getting rid of that regime now.
Okay.
So from April 26th, I think it is.
Yeah.
They're going to abolish the non-dom regime, and instead, when you first come to the UK, the first 4 years, any foreign income and gains won't be liable to UK tax.
Okay.
So it's quite a big change, and as I say, it won't affect loads and loads of our clients. But if you are claiming the non-dom currently, then
you've got to start thinking about it now, really, to sort of strategize to
plan and see how it's going to affect you. And
it's all in the planning.
It is.
It's always planning.
We've got time to do it. So
absolutely,
but that's quite a big change that is going to hopefully simplify the whole system, because it does get very complicated, the non-doms and
and you've got to look at the qualifying days and all that sort of stuff, and that's the residency side of things. So it is worth actually calculating those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's a big change coming in. Another one to do with property again. It's very property heavy.
It is very property heavy. Personal tax, national insurance, and property is where we're at the moment.
Stamp duty, land tax.
Yeah. Okay.
That tax that you have to pay when you buy property.
Yeah.
There is a relief called multiple dwellings relief.
Okay.
Have you come across that?
I have come across that. But what does that what does that mean? So obviously multiple dwellings is probably 2 dwellings or more.
Yeah, exactly.
Or what, basically 2 or more dwellings. Okay, so how did that work? So if I've got a house with an annex, for example.
I was going to say the most common example that you sort of come across is someone buying a property and it's got a self-contained annex that is able to be lived in independently from the rest of the house by a complete stranger, basically.
Yeah.
In those cases, the stamp duty you're paying, rather than paying it all on the one consideration, split it in the 2, work out the stamp duty on those 2. Multiply that by 2, and that generally would give you a better rate.
Yeah. Yes.
So really good relief. It was subject to quite a lot of abuse, I think, by people, which is why they're now getting rid of it.
So creating annexes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but they weren't really annexes or weren't able to be lived in by a stranger, basically, was what the idea it should be. So from 1st of June 2024, no longer. Can't claim it.
So that's now gone as well. So it's now just based on the whole consideration.
Yeah,
so I buy a house with an annex for $500,000. I would pay the stamp duty based on the $500,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas before you'd be working out on 250,000 for each property.
Yeah.
Which would probably then fall within your 0% bracket. So.
Yeah. So you'd end up paying more favourable than now with the whole lot.
Exactly. So a couple of little points on that. It's from 1st of June 2024.
Oh, it's not the 6th of April, 1st of June.
Yeah, 1st of June. So if you've got contracts going through, if you've already exchanged, I think it was if you've already exchanged at the 1st of March or 6th of March, I think it might be actually, then you can still claim it regardless of when you complete.
Okay.
If you hadn't already exchanged at that date, you must complete before the 1st of June to be able to claim it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So get them in quick.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that's another hot one.
A couple of things to think about then if we're selling properties, isn't it? Because we've got to think about the capital gains tax.
Yeah.
We've got to think about the stamp duty.
Yeah, but that's more for the purchaser, isn't it?
Sorry.
Yes,
for purchase.
Yeah. But it still would come into when you're trying to sell it, getting it done before then, because it's going to be more favourable for your buyers, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah. So, watch this space on that, I think.
Yeah, no, sort of the main sort of things really that sort of came up, isn't it? So
some really interesting ones, I think. And what I think he's trying to do is, put money in people's pockets, isn't it? To try and obviously get the housing market going again and get money in people's pockets. So I think actually there is more good news than bad news in there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Like the furnished holiday one's obviously to try and get more properties in coastal towns for people to live in. But it's swing, isn't it? Because obviously having the tourists going there create jobs, but.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you make any other changes to do with any more good news?
Any more good news? He bought in a new ISA as well, didn't he?
What's that then?
ISAs are basically tax-free savings. So you put your money in them up to a certain limit each year, and then you don't have to pay tax.
For individuals, not
for
for companies.
individuals. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So introduced a new one, British savings. So you'll invest in that, and all the money that's invested goes into British companies, basically.
Oh, okay.
So that's a new one. So that's a new, I think it's a £5,000 allowance they're putting on that one.
Wow.
So that's going to be launched from April 2024. So yeah, that's another little bit of good news if you're looking to save some money. Yeah, so I think that's sort of the main sort of highlights from the budget, isn't it? So
an awful lot of changes, an awful lot of things to be proactive with.
Yeah, a lot of planning that can be done ahead of all of these. Some come in from April 24, some from April 25. So
some from June 24.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
So it's worth, as I say, it's worth any questions you get, anything you don't quite understand or whatever, we can always answer any questions that you have on those. But again, still positive.
Yeah, it's a lot of good news in there. So
yeah,
not all doom and gloom, which is always nice from a budget.
But that's just the key points that affect, that we think affect sort of our listeners the most. There are obviously other changes in there, but these are the ones that we've highlighted as key ones.
Exactly.
You can know about.
We've just gone through the key points for our client base, really, haven't we?
Yeah.
And our listeners. And
absolutely. Oh, well, we've been a very, very special guest.
Hopefully everyone's found it informative and a bit of an update on the budget.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
So thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you found it a bit interesting, and if there's any areas on the budget you want more information on how it affects you, get in touch, drop us a WhatsApp on
01905 777 600.
Yeah, so thanks for listening, and until next time,
it's bye from me.
And bye from me.